sure we have other ones, other places, that we should have the kind of network so that people don't get taken advantage of. And we're essentially hustling. We're all hustling backwards now. Whereas like with MJ, he was saying, if he had known before, what's the first thing you say would happen now, Mike, if you saw a case in Florida? What's the first thing if
Uh,
it was first thing you're gonna do?
as soon as you get an administrative notice, and it's within the proper time, you stay there. You
Stay the
file
case.
a yeah, you stay the case, and then you handle it in the circuit.
Because
And
what we
then
learned,
it's yeah, then what we learned, then we get you in, and then if we get somebody in that position, we that's the but it's like if I even with me, G, it's been hard to find like something like that to catch it that early because usually, when you guys speak up about it, and that's the thing too, like as men, we don't like to talk about it with each other. And talking about it with each other kind of help bring people to you, G, because that's how I found you, my cousin. Just like I got tired of keeping that shit to myself. I was like, man, I gotta tell somebody about this. So then I told my cousin, he like, man, you should have been told me. I got somebody to help you. So now it's like, if we can ever get on something that early, and even like if you and your baby mama have a decent relationship before things get too crazy, get a stipulation agreement together. You know what I'm saying? Like there's so many ways. Like when there's a sweet spot, you got to hit that motherfucker the right way. Excuse my language, but you know what I'm saying? Like because there's so many nuances to it. If you don't do this in a timely fashion, or you do, I've heard so many things, and it's like I'm talking about. There's guys like me, Tundrick, that I know that are on top of things, and it's like, hey, okay, I got to see that. I got to do this. I still got to maneuver that way. So like being able to get the resource is, I think, 80% of fighting. The other 20% gonna be you having enough, you caring enough to want to get relief. But 80% is gonna be a resource because what I've seen from a lot of guys that are dealing with the child sports fraud and all that stuff is they got so much bad information that you got to go back and clean up that stuff now to try to even present the proper argument, you know? So a lot of things I do different. I mean, not a lot of things I would do different, but if I got, a case that was early in its onset and there were certain things like y'all relationship ain't too bad, but then we can get a stipulation party. She already went down and filed. Let's stay the case and then let's file a time sharing. And then let's address time sharing first. Then we can address all these other things, so.
exactly. And
And
keep in
I'll
mind,
say this: if
go ahead, my bad, Rick. Go ahead.
if I can too, information is key. What we don't know, you don't know. But by being a part of this group and reaching out to Greg, information is key. He'll give you the information, and some of the stuff you got to research yourself, and then two, you got to be willing to go in and fight. So if you're doing pro se, of course, nobody's going to fight that battle but you. And even if you do have an attorney, you are still the person that's in your best interest, and you need to fight or educate. Well, I wouldn't say educate, but push your attorney, if you have an attorney, to do whatever it is that you want them to do, because you're your own advocate.
And you have to be your own advocate when it comes to anything that you supposedly care about, which is, that's the discussion in and of itself. Another thing I want to do, I wanted to shout out somebody that I always
Greg,
think.
Greg,
Go ahead.
can I say something?
Sure.
I'm always say this, brother. You did not help me. Help. Maybe I spilled something. You loaned me a shirt. I was getting crucified to the cross, and I had 7 motions of that was just frivolous. And I didn't have my passport. I didn't have my license, and they were choking me out. I have got my license. I have my passport, and everything's behind me. You didn't help me, bro. You saved my fucking life.
I provided a pathway that I wish I'd had when I was coming through. I tell you, when I'm cussing y'all out, I always give a preference, or whether it's a caveat or a postscript, to say what y'all have something I did not have. Y'all got
Mhm.
Greg. You got a Greg. I didn't have a Greg. I was Greg. So everything that you all think you went through, if you go into my Dropbox and you know, I don't want to get into all that, y'all can, because it's available for everybody. I was getting my ass drugged. The squid was born from me not having a Greg. That's what brought, you know, the DJ Squid guy into it. And I shout out to Heavy, who you can check me out on Chop Shop with every the sports guru and philosopher. If I hadn't had that, there's no telling what I'd have done. I'd probably been on one of them other kind of shows because that guy is still inside me as well. But I just chose to try to do this to try to help people because I think that the unfortunate part, not just in child support in and of itself, but the way that the processes play out, it's done to create an adversarial relationship between parents. And that adversarial relationship is what fuels the process. And I won't get in because you can go into Florida's constitution where there should be a designated statute or whatever, some kind of prescript for public and private relationships for making money, whatever it is, but it's in there. But without, if there is a cohesive relationship like what Mike was talking about, these people don't make a lot of money because there's no need for them. Because you know you have protections for privacy in Florida. If you go to Article 1, Section 23 of our Constitution in Florida, there's privacy rights that you have.